Welcome to Wales Tech Week 2021. Thank you to our partners. Enjoy the session.
Hello there. My name is Catherine Trifona, and I'm Associate Dean for Partnerships in Cardiff School of Technologies. And I'd like to introduce you today to some of my colleagues who have joined me. We have Dr. Imtiaz Khan, who is a reader or an Associate Professor in Data Science. I have Professor Edmond Prakash joining me today, who is Associate Dean for Research and Enterprise within the school. We also have Ali Shahab, who is a PhD candidate with us, and Sean Ellis-Brown, who is a software engineer and a KTP associate. So I'm going to kick off and be my colleagues' warm-up act and tell you a little bit about Cardiff School of Technologies and really what we stand for and what we're trying to achieve. And then I will be handing over to my colleagues who are going to talk to you a little bit more about the work that they're going to be doing. So as far as schools go within Wales, we're relatively new. We launched in February of 2018 within the Senedd building down in Cardiff Bay. And we are very much minded to help fulfill what is an evidence skills gap here in Wales. And, you know, we align ourselves very carefully with the Welsh Government agenda and we always strive to be as responsive as we possibly can to the needs of the communities that we serve and local industries and businesses. So what I want to do today is I want to talk to you a little bit about how we go about achieving that. So I think we all acknowledge we're in a real time of change at the moment. We wanted to create a school that was going to be a transformative asset for Wales. We find ourselves in a changing geopolitical context, having left the European Union. But of course, since then, we've also been hit with the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think it's fair to say that the COVID-19 pandemic has been a period of immense challenge for so many of us. But it has also been a real time of opportunity. And it's been quite exciting to see how technology has played a part in innovating the way that we work and the way that we live our lives. And even within the school, we have seen our students and our researchers come up with innovative solutions to real world problems. And it was, you know, the team responded very quickly to some of the challenges that we're seeing right back at the beginning of last year when the pandemic first hit. So it is about being responsive, and it's about responding to the needs of the community and making sure that we're producing graduates, but also research and innovation output that meets the needs of Wales. So I wanted to introduce you to some information about our graduates and the students that are within our school. And I've got the headline on my slide here, you know, our students and your graduates. One of the things that we're really keen on doing within Cardiff School of Technology is working really closely with businesses and industry to make sure that the students that are leaving us after their studies are meeting the needs that the local employment sector has. And we engage very closely with businesses to make sure that that's happening. We have an industrial liaison committee within the school. And if that is something that you think you may be interested in, I would encourage you to get in touch after the presentation or after this week to discuss that. We would really welcome your input into things like assessments and the kind of things that we're teaching our students to make sure that we are turning out the graduates that you need. One of the things that we focus on within the school is making sure that graduates are leaving us with not just the technical skills that they need, but they also have the soft skills that they need. As employers, employers frequently come in and tell us that they want to see students who have the ability to research, who have the ability to communicate, who have the ability to lead. It's not just about what programming language you know, although that is important too. So that is a real focus of the way that we help develop our students. Within Cardiff Met, we also committed to something that we call the EDGE principles. This is making sure that all of our graduates have a unique set of attributes that are based around the concepts of being ethical, having a digital mindset, being globally aware and responsive, and being entrepreneurial. And entrepreneurial, of course, is, as you know, is not just about setting up a business, although that's encouraged wherever possible, but it's also about having an innovative mindset and a problem-solving approach. In terms of graduate destinations, we've had graduates leave us and go into a whole range of employment, and some of them have remained within the university. Some of them have gone out to work for big companies like BT and Microsoft, as well as some of the smaller and more medium-sized enterprises in the local area. So I've got a couple of pictures of students up here. These students you can go and find out more about on our blogs. If you're interested in knowing what our students are doing, please go on the Cardiff School of Technology's website, where you can see a whole host of blogs from students that you can see here, such as Mohammed and Vondi, and they will tell you about some of the innovative work that they've been doing whilst they've been studying with us, including engaging with schools, with supporting research and innovation within the school and local businesses, and also even supporting their fellow students in bringing on their skill set. So it's very important to us to make sure that we know that what you want your graduates to look like. And that can be through things like industrial-led assessments and activities. So we're always on the lookout for inspiration from businesses, that maybe our students could be helping you solve problems that you have, in the technical sector. So please do let us know if you think you have any ideas on that. And we really, really want you to be part of our community. And speaking of our community, we are very fortunate that we have just opened our new building on our Llandaff campus in Cardiff. It is an inspiring building. The university is committed to CST by investing a lot of money in the environment that we are now working. Unfortunately, of course, we opened this building shortly before the shutdown, but it is a really exciting time for us as we expand our physical space on campus. And as soon as conditions allow, we hope to organise a series of events for people to come in from the community and have a look around and see our facilities. One of the hopes that we have is that by having what is, a visually inspiring environment, particularly when we have international students and partners come in, we want them to see Wales through a particular lens that shows what an innovative and exciting tech sector we have emerging here within the country. So we have a portfolio of programs, including things like business information systems and computer science, data science, the more creative side of computing. So we try to cover the spectrum of disciplines, because we know that some students will want to study the more theoretical and mathematical underpinnings of what computing is, and then also the sort of more applied and exploring how technology interacts with people, organizations, and society. We also have a number of engineering courses that are coming online, and this is a portfolio we're really excited to be expanding. So we have electronic and computing systems and also robotics engineering. So that's a little bit about the portfolio of programs. We also have, we're very excited about our portfolio of degree apprenticeships. At the moment, Imtiaz is leading our applied data science course, but we also have other courses coming online, subject to funding, things like applied software engineering, cybersecurity, and electronic and mechatronics. One of the things about the degree apprenticeships, as you may well have seen, this was highlighted as being important in the Welsh Government's post-COVID recovery. And this is something we're really, really keen to support. So with degree apprenticeships, students are generally in paid employment, and they will spend roughly 1 day per week on campus with us, studying for their degree. And we work very closely with partners to make sure that the graduates are studying skills that are going to really help innovation in the Welsh tech sector. There are a number of research centres that my colleague Edmond Prakash will touch on later, I'm sure. Sorry, my slide's skipping over. Creative Computing Research Centre, Centre for Industry for Blockchain Research, Bioengineering Research Group, Cybersecurity Information Network Centre, and Eureka Robotics Centre. And these research centres are designed to provide cohesion to our ever-expanding portfolio of researchers to make sure that we are churning out world-class research. There are also opportunities to innovate through schemes such as KTP and Smart Partnership and consultancy. So one of the things that we're keen to do is to explore opportunities for us to support innovation in Wales. And these three-party agreements are one way that we can do this. I would encourage you to go online and have a look at the Welsh Government pages on this, and also our own university pages. And again, if this is something you want to explore, we would welcome a conversation. So that's me done. I just wanted to give you a quick introduction to the school and the kind of things that we're doing and what we're trying to achieve. And now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Imtiaz. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm Imtiaz Khan. I'm a reader or assistant professor in data science, and also I lead this Center for Industry 4.0 and blockchain research. So this center is a multidisciplinary center. It's not only we do specific for Industry 4.0 related projects or blockchain related project, but it also includes projects that touch upon like social science, arts, and design, as well as like robotics, data visualization, and things like that. So I will touch upon some of the projects, and Ali and Sean will provide more detail on two of the projects that they are working on. So in terms of like how this center works and the research and innovation, as Kat kind of touch upon, that every center has different themes that we are working on, or different domain that we have been working on. And in terms of funding, we tap into different type of fundings, particularly like enterprise related funding, like innovative derived KTP projects or Welsh Government derived smart partnership projects, where we work in a kind of tripartite system based with some sort of SME or big industry, or even public service organization. The basic idea is to transfer knowledge from academia to industry via an associate or PhD candidate and things like that. So in terms of like a researcher, we have the internship pathway, where you can have a student from MSc data science program, as well as research associate employed through KTP projects and other type of partnership projects. And then we have like a funded or PhD projects, and as well as obviously there are a lot of postgraduate dissertation projects that can have some students working on your projects and things like that. So this is basically the structure of the kind of activities, how this is funded and who works in which project. So just to give you a brief idea of different projects, so we just completed this smart partnership with a company, Swansea-based company called Business Butler, where we developed a chatbot for them. So we employed a research associate, Ben Hayes, and who developed this chatbot for Business Butler with help from this academic. And we obviously presented that chatbot in last year World Tech Week. And also, another thing is that it is not only the universities giving that knowledge transfer. I mean, the experience that we gain from this development project, it's also now included into our some of the modules like this computational intelligence module. And also, the company benefited, like they have a lot of revenue coming from that chatbot, and also they have some sort of publicity. And some sort of accolade, and they are going in franchise with South Africa as well as in Canada. So another project is like this, where it is also a smart partnership. I mean, completed a couple of years ago actually. So it's on also like data science and some sort of humanities also. Arts and humanities and social science basically. So basically the problem was that this company, the Sature Lab, they call them some cultural hacker. So in particular organization, any organization, you see this type of industrial age kind of a hierarchical structure. But in this digital age, where everybody can email everybody and you can be part of different WhatsApp group, etc., social network group, or Twitter followers, etc., etc. So the interaction between colleagues and other people are not that much hierarchical. So from gathering from the footprint of the digital footprint, we can do some sort of organizational network analysis and try to figure out who are close to whom and things like that, who are the movers and shakers, are kind of underpinning different groups which are not visible in the organogram of a particular company. So Liam was the researcher for that project, and he developed for this type of web-based tool to analyze this or visualize the network between different personnel as well as the companies, their interaction through this visual web-based things. So that helps this company to kind of analyze other different council or their clients interaction and things like that. So that kind of like a data science and arts humanities based project also, I mean, can be done through this center. So another project that is KTP Innovating UK funded KTP, and which Sean will talk about more detail later. So it is more like it's a typical like a cyber physical system based or IoT Internet of Things based this Industry 4.0 kind of focused project, where we are developing a big data driven business intelligence system for window cleaning operation. So Sean will talk more about it, but basically it's that for high tech window cleaning operation that are in industrial scale. So you need some sort of like a more not only like a clever route planner that also requires some sort of like a sensor-based, IoT-based parameters or machines that will enable you to see how to make this window cleaning operation very much optimized. So Sean will talk about it later in more detail. So another project, this is funded by MRC as well as Innovate UK, and we are doing it is actually a SMA lead, the Balsamy. It's a telemedicine company, and with Contact Health Board. So this is where we are developing a mobile app, just monitor adolescent children with mental health issues, especially autism. So during the COVID time, as you know, I mean, many children, as well as due to the lockdown, the health visitor cannot visit their home and kind of monitor the children. So this app will help medical practitioners on different levels to monitor the patients, as well as kind of like make a decision to fix their treatment regime. So another interesting project. It's a PhD studentship funded by guess Welsh government and partly European Union. So where we are developing a visual representation of hypertension, because as you know, hypertension is an asymptomatic disease, and many people are not kind of adhering to the medication. So it's just this visualizing tool. We're trying to not to kind of like educate people, rather to kind of motivate people to get their medication, adhere to their medication. So it's you can think it as like a communication platform between medical GP and the patient, as well as pharmacist and patient. So they would know what is like a how kind of why stroke happens, the physiology of it, the dynamics of it, and things like that. So what does the parameter means? What is 120 by 80 means actually, systolic and diastolic pressure, and things like that. So it educates as well as motivates people. So we are kind of now testing or evaluating this app or software, you can think of, across with kind of health board in West Wales as well as in South Wales with community pharmacy also. So another, now coming to the blockchain part of the center. Ali Shahab, who will also present today about this project, what we are developing with company's house. So how you can kind of ensure the integrity of data as well as the interoperability of data across different public service organization. So as in this case, like company's house, HMRC, and land registry. So Ali will talk about it more in detail. But it is a very interesting project, and kind of like it has already some sort of good attraction from different public service organization. So another blockchain related project is this kind of designing a digital health marketplace where you can patient can sell their data. As you know, like with current GDPR and new regulation, that the patient now have the control over their data. So now it's that now the patient have their control over their electronic health record as well as the other data that they have with the NHS system or the GP system, as well as people have their data from generating from their Fitbit or other type of wearables. So then what to do with this data? I mean, yeah, it's good to have control over the data, but how do you monetize the data, or what can benefit you can use this data? Because currently most of our data is held by the NHS or some sort of like a government secured database like SAIL database and things like that. So here we are trying to kind of develop a kind of blockchain enabled data, I mean, user specific patient data monetization system, where like an Airbnb, you can kind of share your resource. I mean, think it as if your data as a resource, you can share with the researcher or pharmaceuticals, and you can get paid for that, and you can monetize your data. So that's another kind of like a kind of economic as well as like a obviously blockchain based project that we are currently undertaking with, again, with Balsami, that telemarketing company, a telemedicine company. So, and obviously this type of project has a lot of issue, GDPR regulation and things like that. So that is also another challenge. I mean, not only for this channel, I mean, so for Ali's project and things like that. So there's GDPR is a big issue whenever you say anything with data and things like that. So, I mean, this is also an interesting part, and where the legal issues and legislative issue comes in. And we have our, I mean, academics from our School of Law, I mean, Department of Law, who are kind of involved with this center. So finally, there is another. I mean, we just started this partnership with Agriculture University in Bangladesh. So where we are using blockchain or exploring the use of blockchain to understand the supply and the value chain of aquaculture-based fisheries in developing countries. So as you may know that in developing countries, the fisheries has become transformed from capture to culture, right? So there are more aquaculture-based fisheries or protein sources now than in like 10 years before. So but it also has this like I mean it totally transformed the supply chain as well as the value chain, and also it has a different impact on food safety. So with using blockchain technology, we're trying to see how we can ensure the food safety as well as kind of understand the dynamics of the value chain. And lastly, I just want to, as a program director for this this apprenticeship data science program, which will this summer will have our first graduating cohort, which is a great news for us. And as Kat said, we are transforming into cybersecurity as well as to software engineering. So to date, I mean, most of our apprenticeships are coming from different public service organizations, but we are transforming into, I mean, we're getting more apprenticeship from different fintech companies like Admiral, Principality, or Confused.one, things like that. So without further ado, I'm kind of transferring it to my colleague, Ali Shahab. So Ali, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khan. Hello, everyone. My name is Ali, and my research is funded by the European Social Fund, and my industry partner is Companies House Cardiff. And my research revolves around answering the question, can we use blockchain to facilitate data integrity and interoperability among different public services? So just to quickly introduce you to Companies House. Companies House are the UK official registrar of all the limited companies registered in the UK. We have over 4 million companies registered to date, and 500,000 companies are registered every year. The data that we hold on our registers is of vital importance to the UK economy. We share and collect a lot of personal information and distribute it with other public services as well. And our registers are searched more than 3 billion times a year. So my research has 3 core objectives. The first one is Companies House centric. So each company has a life cycle. So from its incorporation to its dissolution, it's legally required to file information with Companies House, which is to be made available to general public to make business informed decisions. So the research question is that can blockchain technologies or distributed ledger technologies be used to guarantee the integrity of this life cycle of a company? The second objective is more of general public services centric. So we have all of these public services. They all collect data from us to provide us with different services and run day-to-day operations, but they don't talk to each other. So think last time when you move your address, how many different places you had to go and tell them that you have moved. So personally, when I moved from London to Cardiff, I had to do it at least 14 times. So it doesn't create value. There's a lot of value to be unlocked there. So the second objective is that can distributed ledger technologies enable secure data sharing among different public services and enhance the interoperability between different public services? This kind of takes me to more of the user-centric approach that I, as a owner of a business, when I move address, as just said, the page on Companies House website literally says that you may have to go to HMRC and tell them that you're moving address. And when you go to HMRC, the page literally says that you may have to actually tell Companies House that you're moving address. So these registers don't talk to each other. And this is kind of how the current model looks like. So even though Companies House makes their data available under open data to general public, they're more like data dumps and like CSV downloads. So as the time passes, keeping them in sync really becomes a problem. And that is where we focused as into how can we answer the 3 research questions or 3 problem statements by using blockchain technology as a technology layer, and we did a lot of socio-technical evaluation and research around designing that solution. So what we eventually built was a hybrid public permission hybrid blockchain layer, which allows different public services to talk to each other on a permission ledger, and guarantees the integrity of the data using public blockchains like IPFS and decentralized storage solutions. Sorry, public blockchains like Ethereum and decentralized storage solutions like IPFS, and of course allows me to provide real-time updates to different public services. So I have a small demo which I will try to quickly run you by if this decides to load. Yep. So this is the demo of the proof of concept. So I just, maybe given the time, I'll have to probably make it run a little bit faster. So here, what we have is a setup of 3 public services, which is primarily based around the Roibo use case, which is UK government consultation about overseas entities buying land in the UK. So what we are demonstrating here is, for example, a company shows an intent to buy land in the UK. In this case, land registry and HMRC are interested to know the information on that company. So as you can see, as soon as the company was created, we updated other public services that this company has been created. So now, as events happen in the life of the company, we will update those events to kind of track the journey. So for example, this is an example of incorporation certificate, which is issued once in the life of a company. So this is an event that has happened, let's say, that is of interest to other public services, and it requires us to make it immutable to guarantee the integrity of this document, because like I said, it's a vital document. Again, as we kind of posted to a public blockchain, we brought it back to notify other public services that an event has happened in the life of the company, and so on. So you will see a couple of more events here. Each event is by default is consuming the previous state. So for example, as close to my heart is the move of address. So this is the current state of let's say public registers, that each of these registers think that I live at a different place, or Hojo company is registered at a different address. So once we plug our model into the existing systems, then as soon as an update happens in the life of a company or the address change, you can see like all registers are in sync already. And this was kind of a key decision to use Coda as a permission layer, was that there are events that we don't want other public services to know. For example, turnover is something that maybe land registry don't need to know. So Coda allows us for point-to-point communication. So as soon as the company, let's say, files turnover with us, we can notify HMRC that this has happened. And eventually, if the company then ceases to exist, then of course we stop tracking that company. So this is kind of where the proof of concept is heading. It's still more and more development happening on it. So as I mentioned before, that as a part of this research, we haven't just focused on the technical side of building such a solution, but we evaluated the internal and external public value that having such a synchronized system or synchronized public services will create, and we've mapped that to the technical aspects that blockchain bring to the table. So our vision to kind of take this of 3 public services to a lot of public services is to have a shared register among all public services. So next time when I move address, I don't have to go to 14 different places and tell them that I have moved address. I will now like to pass on to Sean so he can talk about his research. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali. What a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
So just to segue on from what Imtiaz was saying about the knowledge transfer partnerships involved with Cardiff Metropolitan University, I'm the associate that's working on the KTP for Window Cleaning Warehouse and Cardiff Met. So you may not all know, but the window cleaning process has transformed into a high-tech industry. So it's transformed from a bucket and ladder business into a high-tech industry where we use specialized van systems to purify water, which leaves less residue on windows and makes the window cleaning operation a lot safer by using extendable poles and everything like that. So naturally, with a highly progressive industry in the tech world, we're looking for Industry 4.0 adoption now. So how do we achieve Industry 4.0? So the main components of Industry 4.0 is real-time data exchange between the systems so that they can make cloud-based decisions on how to best proceed with operations and give the best insights into what to do given the current climate. And we collect this data from the IoT hardware that we're developing in this KTP to monitor the van systems, to monitor things like the TDS. And we bundle all this into a user interface that can be used on multiple platforms. So getting Industry 4.0 ready. So I mentioned a little bit about the IoT hardware we're developing. So we're monitoring the water usage on jobs to try and reduce water waste, chemical use. And we're also monitoring other job variables to be able to optimize the routes based on domain-specific things. So, for example, in the window cleaning context, you might want to stop at refill locations to get purified water. This is obviously an advantage over things like Google Maps, which only account for things like traffic and geolocation and stuff, but might not be best suited for domain-specific tasks like the window cleaning business that rely on other variables. So we've been working on a program called Round Control. It works by using Google Cloud's infrastructure to be able to optimize routes for window cleaners, monitor the hardware, and facilitate an efficient management of the window cleaning process. Here's a quick demo of the app in action.
Right, okay. Let's take a look how we can use this technology to reduce water waste, chemical waste, and optimize routes based on saving water and making less refills at refill locations. So now that we've navigated to the calendar and then to the job, you'll see that you're able to monitor the job across multiple platforms. So on web, iOS, Android, Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. So it's based on a real-time database. So if I add a job, you'll see the updates across all devices. And then you can sort the job on any device and it'll run our machine learning algorithms and optimize for the best route across all devices and update accordingly. So you can keep your window cleaners on the best route to save fuel and better help the environment. Once you navigate to a job, you'll need to be on an Android or iOS device with Bluetooth capability. And this is the process of starting to monitor a job. So at the moment, we're trying to connect to the IoT hardware in the van systems. Once connected, we can start monitoring the job and you'll get a feed of live data that syncs across all devices in real time. Thank you.
So that's it from me. So on to Professor Edmond Prakash. Thank you very much. It seems that we're having some technical difficulty with Edmond at the moment. So please remember to send your comments and questions into the group chat and we can answer them at the end.
So, can you see my slide?
Not yet, no.
So it says the share button is not turning on.
I'll see if I can bring up the slides.
Okay.
But so far, I'd just like to say thank you to the people who have spoken today. I hope they've given you a little bit of an insight so far into who we are and some of the fantastic innovative work that my colleagues within the School of Technologies are doing. And I particularly like to take the time to thank Sean and Ali, who are two very committed PhD candidates and associates, for coming along and talking to us today. I think we've got some slides on the screen, Edmond.
Okay, thank you. So
Okay.
can you see?
They're not in presenter mode, but we can see them, so that's fine. I will disappear and I will hand you over to my colleague, Professor Edmond Prakash, who's the Associate Dean for Research. So I'm going to hand you over. All right, Edmond.
Yeah, thank you. So good afternoon. So as Cardiff Metropolitan University, we are open for business. So we want to work with you, whether you are in Wales, in the UK, or further afield. Brief, like the status on where we are now. We started in 2018 with around 300 students and 15 staff members. And currently we have 65 staff members, around 1,200 students, and 30 research scholars who are working in our school. So you have got a glimpse of some of the work that we do there from the previous presenters. So our target is to grow beyond this, to double the capacity what we are in today. So there is an opportunity to work with all of you. So traditionally we have been with a software focus. We have been growing our hardware capability, and we are moving towards building larger systems. So there are several application areas that we are looking at, which may be of interest to you. So in terms of the postgraduate program, you heard from my colleague Kat about the undergraduate programs. We also have opportunity to collaborate. So it could be through a PhD or a professional engineering doctorate program, or through the various master's program we have in our school. So you are welcome to explore what we have for you. In addition to this, the Cardiff Metropolitan University also has a global academy, a group of activities that grow within the university, which is more interdisciplinary in nature. So you can utilize this network that we have within the university to build even larger systems that go beyond technology in various application areas, which includes human-centered design, health, as well as in safety and security. So here is our contact. So please do drop us a message, and we are happy to talk to you. Thank you, and over to you, Lisa.
I think the time is up now.
Thank you, everybody.
Do we have time for questions?
Finished. Yeah, do we have time for questions? I think Lisa said we had maybe another minute or so. So if there's any questions we can answer, please do. If anybody wants any further information on what's been presented today, please do go and have a look at the Cardiff School of Technology's website. There's plenty of information there about some of the innovative work that we're doing, some of the courses that we're delivering. The student blogs that I mentioned earlier are available, so you can read about what we're doing straight from the students themselves. There's some really interesting stuff there, but also there's a 3D virtual tour of our new facilities in the Llandaff campus. So if you're interested to see our new building, please do take a look at that. So check out the Cardiff School of Technology's website, and you'll also find some contact details on there as well if you would like to follow up on any of the stuff that's been discussed today, or if you want to explore the possibilities of collaboration, particularly through research and innovation, please get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Rewatch all of our sessions online. Thank you to our partners.